why this Superman doesn't work. Link for the original video in the descriptions, guys. And I am very curious as a mild Superman fan to see what it is that this gal has to say.
I didn't think DC could make me dislike them more than I already do, but they totally did with their new Superman movie.
Okay, already she went in guns a-blazing. She said she doesn't like DC. She's wearing a Marvel shirt. Why would she like Superman, honestly? Though I gotta say, I have heard a lot of Marvel people and people who didn't like Superman say that they liked him because of this movie. Of course, I heard the same thing when Man of Steel came out. So I don't know. We'll see.
Hated it. Hated.
Come on, Stream Queen. I like that name. I like that name. Like I said, her link's in the description if you end up liking this video.
This isn't an origin
And don't forget to subscribe to my brand new superhero reaction channel, separated from my Superman channel that I had before.
Story at all. The new Superman movie released over the summer this year just throws us into a world where Superman already exists.
You mean like a comic book? Do you read those?
It's basically DC hitting the reset button and reminding us that Superman is supposed to represent hope and not just power.
What? Man of Steel, he said hope a lot. And he said that, that's what he represents. So it's not like it's a weird thing,
Although the Superman origin story has clearly been done over and over again,
yeah, it has.
I don't think they did the right thing by just dropping the audience into an already established world.
I would say that I know very few people that were bothered by that. I really do. I know very few people that were bothered by that. They all liked the comic book thing where it's like you got dropped in, boom, straight to the action. They enjoyed that. Me, I love origin stories. I liked how Man of Steel was an origin story. But we did just have one of those.
Since they decided to basically rebrand this into an entirely different type of Superman with a different vibe, they probably might have benefited from starting from the ground up. In reality, most people don't fall in love at first sight, right?
Do you agree with that? Would it have been smarter with a different Superman to have had an origin as to why he's different? Or is it fine to, most movies don't even have an origin story. They just drop you into where the characters are, what they're doing. And, it's like, this is the origin of Superman in a way, because it's like, we've never seen him this particular way. And it's showing us how he is in this particular state. So it's like, it's not an origin of him, but it is an origin of sorts. So I don't know. I do prefer origins.
That sad beginning of the entire planet being destroyed and his parents having no choice but to send him off on his own as a baby. Give me some of those character building moments he experienced as a child who starts experiencing weird things and coming to terms with the fact that he's different from everyone else.
Well, but everything she's saying has been established in other movies. I think that's why James probably didn't. And I'm not a James Gunn fan. I could care less about directors or actors. I like Superman. That's about it. But I feel like, comic artists too. I love origin stories, but not every comic artist says, I need to start mine with an origin story. They don't all do that,
And feeling like he's a freak, because that's something I feel like we can all relate to on some level. Spoiler alert. I'm going into details that you may or may not want to hear, so act accordingly. I have long been highly disappointed by a lot of the DC Universe movies, with exceptions. I think that they hit the nail on the head with a lot of the casting decisions in the past.
Like who?
We want superheroes to look like superheroes. The best decision being Henry Cavill as Superman.
Well, he did look like Superman, yes.
Followed by Ben Affleck as Batman.
Hey, I love Batfleck. A lot of people hated Batfleck. They called it, like, pictures like this made him say, they called him Fat Man, because of that suit. But I liked him. I thought he was good. I never really cared for Christian Bale as Batman. Thought those movies were great. But I didn't get the Batman or the Bruce Wayne feel out of him too much. Ben Affleck, I get both. I don't know what it is. I liked him. In real life, I've never enjoyed Ben Affleck as a actor. I've never enjoyed him in a lot of stuff, but I felt him in this.
Those dudes looked like freaking superheroes. Not to mention Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Isn't it Godot? I've been hearing Gadot a lot lately. It's like, I think it's Godot.
Gold star to whoever made that decision. But I'm not that shallow. I'm not hung up on just the exterior. They really embodied those characters.
Okay.
As I briefly mentioned in my Witcher review, I think Cavill was the best Superman ever. Prove me wrong.
We don't have time for that. But I will say that I think George Reeves from the 50s, the black and white, his Superman was really good, and Christopher Reeves Clark Kent was really good. I don't have any single one that embodied. I mean, Christopher Reeves Clark Kent. I mean, Superman was great too, and George Reeves Clark was great. But I preferred those versions. I preferred George's Superman and Re- Chris Reeves, his wow, this is hard to talk about the two of these guys, his Clark Kent. But yeah, so Henry, his Clark Kent with Superman and glasses, I hate that. I hate Superman and glasses as Clark Kent. His Superman was good, but I felt like we never got to see his Superman. I felt like he was under the direction of Zack Snyder, which I don't feel is great at character development. I've had y'all argue with me in the comments of this before. He's just that's not his strong suit. I'm not saying he's a bad. I'm just saying his strong suit is not character development. Just like James Gunn, I don't think his strong suit is cinematic, artistry. It's just not, Zack Snyder is like a photographer at heart. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Then Superman was replaced. I couldn't believe.
I guess replaced is the right word. The DCU was rebooted. Everybody's replaced.
Believe that. With all the flops created by DC, I felt Superman was the only thing keeping me from forever turning my back on them. And then they replaced him. What a fucking disaster.
Well, she's not a DC fan, though. You know what I'm saying? She's not a DC fan. So a lot of people that weren't DC fans were like, yeah, I like Cavill as Superman. But if you were a DC fan, you wouldn't have just thought, okay, he's peak or whatever, because you would have realized there was a lot of flaws going on. So I feel that way with David, too. There's a lot of flaws going on in the James Gunn movies, and I kind of hold them around the same. It depends on my mood as to which one I would prefer to watch. You know what I mean?
But James Gunn is doing this version. It'll be good, they said. He wrote and directed the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. They were awesome. He's going to do great things for this. So against my better judgment, I held on to a little bit of hope, but not really. Okay. Especially after I saw the trailer.
Against your better judgment, you held on to a little bit of hope, but not really. Okay, let's talk about the first trailer.
But guess what? I still went and I saw it at the movie theater. I cleared all the bad thoughts and went into it with an open mind. And I hated it. But hold on.
It's okay if you hate it. It's perfectly fine if you hate it. But I'm not getting the vibe that you got rid of your bad thoughts before you went in. I'm not getting that vibe.
Maybe I was still just being biased. It's streaming on HBO Max now. Let me watch it again, just in case. And I hated it again. This version of Superman, James Gunn's version, the storyline, the visuals, the tone, as well as the actual character of Superman.
What does she mean by visuals? Because James Gunn's Superman, the graphics are advanced past where Man of Steel was. The graphics look better. They look more realistic. Zack Snyder's looks more beautiful, looks more cinematic. But the scenes, like some of the fighting scenes in Smallville, in the theater, I was like, oh, that is a downgrade from Superman Returns. And then whenever he flew, like in Africa, over the zebras and all that, I was like, what TV crap is this? And since, not back then, but since, people have been saying, like, since DCU Superman came out, how great that movie looked and all this. And I'm like, guys, have you gone back and watched it? There's a lot, like his fight with that weird, world generator thing, like there's a lot of graphics in it that just look like CGI. That's what they look like. Whereas there's a lot of scenes in James Gunn's movie, because the technology's changed, they're using a lot more LED screens. It didn't look like CGI. People even claimed CGI and stuff, including me, that I realized that wasn't CGI at all. Like the suit that the Hammer of Baravia wore, I thought that was fake. I thought the first thing I saw in that trailer was like, that suit looks fake. And then I saw the behind the scenes. They made that suit. It was all the LED lights, I guess, glowing off of it that kind of made it look different. But it was real. It was all real. So it's really hard for people to tell these days what's good, bad, real, fake. It's crazy.
It felt brighter, lighter, and more PG.
Brighter, lighter.
It was an obvious.
It felt more PG? No, I think Man of Steel feels more PG. Superman doesn't cuss in Man of Steel. Superman cusses like 4 times in James Gunn's. And every time I say that, people are like, shut. They're like, he does? Yeah, he does. He says the S word. He says the P word. He's a P word. He says the H word. Yeah. I mean, Man of Steel is more serious, but I wouldn't call it like more adult or something. Now, if you're talking about Justice League and stuff, though, where you got like the heads getting cut off in the background, things like that, that's different.
Previous rollback to the Christopher Reeve era, from the frumpy, awkward-looking underwear suit down to the little curl that hung on his forehead.
Let's not diss that. That is what makes the Man of Steel the Man of Steel.
Throughout the movie, they even played a slightly updated version of the old Superman theme song, The March. Just little clips here and there, but that's clearly what it was. Yeah. I want to make it clear that I grew up with Christopher Reeve as Superman, and I was even a little smitten by him. He was my first superhero experience, so I loved him. The whole suit with the briefs, I don't know how, maybe it was his incredible stature, but he pulled it off. This new guy?
He did.
Not so much.
Well, the suit wasn't good. In the new movie, I don't like the suit that much. I like the classic vibes it has, but then they went with this rubbery armor, baggy stuff. I've talked that to death.
Snyder's version, albeit darker and more serious, felt more realistic. I mean, as much as a superhero movie can feel. Gunn's version just felt goofy and corny.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be realistic. In Gunn's defense, I guess I should say, it was supposed to be comic booky. It was supposed to be. I mean, it starts off saying that at the very beginning, there's been metahumans for 300 years. Does that sound realistic to you? No, he's not going for a realistic vibe. Zack Snyder was. If you prefer realistic, obviously you're going to like that. If you prefer more comic book, you're going to like that. I like both. I think sometimes I get in realistic moods and sometimes I don't. You know, it's just what it is what it is.
It was shallow. It didn't have any meat on it. I was kind of embarrassed for them while I was watching it. Heavy on the CGI, as most superhero movies are, but the good ones also have substance, and the characters have character.
That's weird. I've always complained about Man of Steel since 2013 about the characters. The character. I didn't feel any character issues in James Gunn's. I'm trying to think hard about this before I just nail down on that. Was there any character issues? I didn't like Lex Luthor, but not because I didn't like Nicholas Holt's portrayal. It was a very hateable character. Like, it was like, oh, he's evil. But that's different. I don't know. I don't see where she's coming from. I want her to maybe she'll give me a better, I don't know.
I'm going to butcher his name, but David Cornsweet, the new Superman.
No, you got it. You nailed it.
I don't think they did him any favors in the way this Superman was written. He was really, oh golly gee wow, just came off really folksy. And Christopher Reeve was also a little, oh golly gee wow.
What I didn't like is he oh golly gee wowed and also cussed. It's like, wait, which one does he do? That makes no sense.
But he had swag. Maybe if new Superman had some swag, I might have liked him a little. But he didn't, so I didn't. Lex Luthor was awful. That's all I got for him. He just wasn't it. And
I gotta know what you mean. Because I didn't think Nicholas Hoult did a bad job, and I thought the Lex Luthor was very reminiscent of that in the animated series. But they made me hate the character. It's full evil. It made me hate it. Now, I've heard people complain about the crying that Lex Luthor does. Like, he wouldn't cry. I don't know. I mean, he did just have, like, his whole life's goal, becoming king and all that, just crushed in front of him. And his crying didn't seem because of weakness. It seemed because of anger. You know, so I don't know. I don't think it necessarily didn't fit.
The B-Team, the Justice Gang, ugh, who came up with that idea?
I liked the Justice Gang. I didn't like that they were in the movie, but I liked
James Gunn. I think he wanted us to feel yucky towards the Green Lantern because he was a whole hot mess with that haircut. And just his vibe was, ugh.
That's just the way his hair looks in the comics. I mean, it usually looks pretty bad.
At least I hope that's what they were going for. Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific. Who are they? Can I get some backstory?
But there are so many characters. I've said this since the movie came out, guys. There's so many characters in movies that don't have stories. They're just the side character. They're the best friend. You know, like You've Got Mail or whatever it's called with Meg Ryan. I can't remember if it's You've Got Mail or if it's the other one. But where I think Dave Chappelle is the best friend. No context. No context on their age gap. No context at all as to what's going on, how they became friends. But it's fine. It's a side character. You don't need all that stuff. And I feel like a lot of people, for some reason, because they're superheroes, they're like, oh, well, we should have gotten a backstory and an origin story for all of them. They're just side characters. That's all they are. I thought that he was going to use them and then do their own movies and like use Superman to kick them off. But that Supergirl, Clayface, these are not the next movies. You know what I mean? These are not Justice Gang movies.
Something to feel something about these characters. You gave us nothing. I feel nothing for them. And that's not how you win over an audience or get them to love or hate a character, especially when that audience was already invested in a completely different version. Now, to be fair, some of these characters are clearly meant to be explored further in other DC projects like Peacemaker. And that's fine. I actually love Peacemaker. But that doesn't change my issue with this movie. In Superman, Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific aren't characters. They're basically just there for show. And if I have to do homework
they're side characters, as I said,
in another show just to care about who they are, then the movie itself didn't do its job.
Did we have to do that?
And since Peacemaker is part of the same universe, and I'll just say I have very different feelings about that series, I'll be covering seasons 1 and 2 in my next video. At the end of the day, this version of Superman just didn't work for me. Not because it's different, but because it felt hollow. DC didn't just change the tone.
It's so weird, guys. I've heard this exact same description about Man of Steel, that it felt hollow. You know, like, it's weird. Certain people, they just need certain things to, I guess, make them feel. They need different things. Some people can watch Man of Steel, say it's garbage and slop. Some people can watch James Gunn and say it's garbage and slop. It's amazing to me, though, how they'll think the other version is peak or whatever. Neither's peak to me. Neither deserves a 10 out of 10. Neither deserves a 9 out of 10. They're both good movies. I don't get when people like put their hopes and trust and then a movie comes out and it's like, oh, it failed me. And I'm like, well, there's comics. That's where the character comes from, is the comics. Go read some comics. I got tons that I've read and tons that I haven't. So I've got a lot of work to do, you know, and I don't know, just read some comics.
Stripped away the emotional foundation that made us connect with Superman in the first place. I don't need Superman to be dark, but I do need him to feel real. And this movie never gave me a reason to connect with him.
Really? What about the fact that he cared so much about life and it was so obvious? What about the fact that Krypto was lost and he was willing to sacrifice himself just for a dog, as Lois put it? Like, how did you not connect with that and say, wow, he could care less about himself and he wants to help others? That's amazing. Like, I don't see when people, I'm not dogging on you. I don't see how you don't see the massive connection of humanity in him. Like, it's crazy. It was so much easier to see there than it was in Man of Steel. Man of Steel did a lot of the good things right too, though. But, you know, I don't know.
Leaned really hard into nostalgia and visuals, but it forgot the substance that made people fall in love with the character in the first place. If this is a direction DC is going,
agree with that.
Good luck winning over.
I feel like that's exactly what he did, was tried to connect to the original character.
Snyder and Cavill fans. For some people,
I got to hear that again.
First place. If this is a direction DC is going, good luck winning over Snyder and Cavill fans. For some people, this lighter throwback version might work. But for me, it just confirmed that this reboot is nowhere near the Superman that I was hoping for.
I think that's part of people's problem, guys. The Superman I'm hoping for is early golden age 1940s. I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get it. So I don't go into each movie thinking this is the time. This is the time, guys. They're finally going to get my Superman right. They're not. So I'm going to see what it is that they're putting out. Don't forget to check out, what's her name? Stream Queen. She seems like she might have some interesting videos. I got a brand new channel here too. This is Kryptonite Korner Reacts. And I just started this channel because I like reacting to stuff and y'all like watching me, but my other channel, I needed to split that content. So subscribe to both, please. And don't forget to check out another video.